Welcome to Bible Study with Fred. I'm in part 8 of my comments on Revelation chapter 4, verses 1 to 7. I'm going to jump right into it. Now, I do hope if you watch this video, you'll click like and subscribe or follow and share the video with someone else. Save it to favorites, watch it again, but definitely feel free to make comments. So let's begin. I'm going to talk about verse 7 of Revelation 4, 1 to 7. Now, verse 7 shows God's taxonomic classification. Flying creatures, domesticated, wild, and man. Man's connection to the other animals is through these living creatures. All creatures were made after their kind, as it says in Genesis. Genesis 1:21. And God created great whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind, and God saw that it was good, in verse 25. And God made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind, and God saw that it was good. Genesis 6:20, of fowls after their kind, and of cattle after their kind, and of every creeping thing of the earth after his kind, two of every sort shall come unto thee to keep them alive. Genesis 7:14, they and every beast after his kind, and all the cattle after their kind, and every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth after his kind, and every fowl after his kind, every bird of every sort. Obviously, this is a very general classification and has nothing to do with the dozens of species that Darwin and modern scientists use to classify different living creatures. Much is made by the creationist-minded and the fundamentalist about the phrase after their kind in Genesis 1:21 and 25, 6:20 and 7:14. The word kind, contrary to what is said often, does not refer to an individual species, whichever of the many definitions of species you use. And I'll post a link below. I think there's a list of 26 different species, ways of looking at species. In other words, they define species, some scientists, there's 26 different ways. So whether that species is a local, isolated group of finches or something like the, quote, breed of animal husbandry's dog breeding, although there are significant differences between breed and species, they are also not from the same discipline. So the issue is basically one about definition of terms that refer to similar but not identical things. One of the things Charles Darwin was against was the popularly preached by clerics and many pre-Darwin biologists' view that every species of animal that existed in his day was said to have come down from an original ancestor just like them in a doctrine called the immutability of species. If there are 100 species of a type of bird today, then those species would have existed back to Noah's Ark, goes the idea. This, of course, is absurd, as mankind created many breeds of dogs in the last 200 years alone. If you regard a breed and a species as having similar meanings but under different types of scientific disciplines, zoology versus animal husbandry, then you can imagine speciation, the process where different breeds or species of dogs, cats, horses, or birds came about, taking place rather quickly in history. But the word kind doesn't mean species at all. It's more like a general type of creature. Many species of cats came from the first cat creatures on the Noah's Ark. The problem with evolution is that a cat never became a dog, a pea never became a chrysanthemum, and an ape-like creature never became a man. There is no evidence of such a thing occurring without twisting the evidence into knots, and the whole popularly understood concept of evolution in that regard, called macroevolution, is a fairy tale for atheists and in complete opposition to the Bible and to reality. Now, modern taxonomic classifications of living things are purely man-made and are totally subjective to what man chooses to include as a characteristic of the creature being named. God classifies animals differently based on characteristics that will be understood by men without microscopes. For instance, fowls fly. So the bat is a fowl in Leviticus 11:19 and Deuteronomy 14:18. And ancient writers like Aristotle and those kind in that era, they would also call a bat a fowl. And the Hebrew could not eat fowl with certain characteristics. The words reptile and mammal were classifications created by man for his own convenience and study. The Bible speaks of beasts of the field, domestic animals, and beasts of the forest, wild animals. It speaks about animals in a way of their usefulness generally to agricultural man or military man, not their peculiarities to the curious modern man. Trying to force man's definitions of everything from beast to sin on the Bible's definitions is futile and arrogant. When you argue allowing your opponent to control the definitions of words, you are surrendering all leverage to them. Finally, a whale is a large creature that swims in the sea and therefore can be called a great fish, because fish are creatures that swim in the sea. Compare Jonah 1:17 with Matthew 12:40. The order Cetacea for whales is not a concern of the Bible. A whale simply signifies the Leviathan, a large creature which, like all creatures, comes first from the sea and then other creatures from the earth. Genesis 1:20-24. Human taxonomic classifications are a different language for a different purpose. Don't read your own definitions, preferences, or opinions any more than your own personal fear, hatreds, or bigotry back into the Bible. So we'll stop there. I'm going to ask you today to please open the Bible and just read it. Let God speak to you through his word. I'm going to ask you separately to study the Bible, cross-referencing the verses. Before you do either one, please pray to God for wisdom and understanding, and then share your interpretation with someone else. Now, you can read my comments, what I just said, on my blog. I'll post the link below so you can read that if you like. But if you've watched this video this far, would you please click like and subscribe or follow and share the video with someone else? Save it to favorites, watch it again. But whatever you do, please feel free to make comments. You may agree or disagree. If you disagree, please provide your scripture citations or outside citations. And look at my blog, because I'm going to have the link to some things I said, references, so you can look at the references and see why I said what I said. All right. I look forward to doing this. I hope that you enjoy it. And if you do enjoy it, let me know. I like to see that too. Thank you.